Okay, hi.
Hello.
Thanks everybody for volunteering to help me with the social skills, life skills program. So today we are going to do a lesson plan based on anger management. So before we do that, we're going to go over some informed consent. Basically, the way that this works is that with informed consent, it is just so that you understand what you're responsible for and what I'm responsible for. In this, all you need to understand is that at any point, you can leave. You do not have to take part in this. You're not obligated to stay in it. And if you're uncomfortable at any point, you just have to say so. Also, with the informed consent, if you happen to bring up anything of a sensitive nature, whether it's a possibility of you harming yourself or harming somebody else, or any harm to a minor in any way, those are offenses that I do have to report legally. That is something that there's no ifs, ands, or buts that will be reported for your safety and the safety of others. With this informed consent, you're basically acknowledging the fact that you all are volunteers here and that you understand that I am a student and that I am doing this as part of my learning activities and growing experience in the social service worker field. And I appreciate you guys all for helping. So I'm going to give each of you one. If you guys could just pass the pen down and sign it. Thanks. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Donna.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Michelle. Okay, great. I can take those from you guys. So, we are going to work on anger management. And have any of you ever done an anger management lesson, life skills thing before with work or at school? Nothing? Not even in your job? No? Okay.
Not me.
All right. Well, we're going to do that today. So what we're going to do first is just discuss the fact that with anger management, anger affects all of us in different ways. Some of us express it openly and overly and loudly. Some of us hide it deeply and then it explodes later in non-constructive ways. So basically what this is going to do is just we're going to work on focusing on exactly what type of anger we all have, how our anger has affected relationships that we've had in the past. So whether it's at work or with our family or with our friends or even with strangers in the community, we're going to look at how we can focus our anger, address our anger, and identify it, and maybe come up with some tools and activities to streamline it so that we can have a better control over anger in general. And it's not to say that you guys necessarily have an anger problem, but it's always a good thing to put a little bit of focus on something so specific. Let's not point fingers. What we're going to do is we're going to start with a warm-up because sitting around talking about it is really boring. So I really think that we should play a little game called Twist and Show. So if you guys can stand up into your own spaces, we're going to have a little bit of personal space for ourselves. And what we're going to do is we're going to put our hands up in the air and we're going to twist. This is the first part of Twist and Show. It's okay to feel silly. It's okay to feel strange. Try not to hit your partner. Okay, so now comes the shout part. So with the Twist and Shout part is we are going to shout the alphabet at each other when we point. The whole thing is that it's going to get used to you guys looking at each other and directing attention to one another and paying attention to what the other people around you are doing. So, Are you in this game? I'm going to play. I am going to be part of this game, and basically feel free to take as much time as you want to pick who your next person's going to be, and we will go from there. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to say A,
B, C,
D,
E,
F,
G,
H,
I,
J,
K,
L,
M,
N,
O,
P,
Q,
R,
S,
T,
U,
B,
W,
X,
Y.
Z.
Done.
Done.
Yes.
stuff. How does everybody feel? Loose?
Yeah.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, what was that?
fantastic. So just take
I'm feeling
it.
angry.
You're feeling angry? Okay, well, good.
Kidding.
It's good. We'll work on that one. So just take a seat, relax. I'm gonna just grab my book. If you need water, you need to take a break. Feel free to. Okay, so basically, what we're going to do now is just have a little talk about what anger management. I wouldn't even say anger management in regards to we're fixing a problem. It's just more being aware of what anger does to ourselves and just ways we can handle it. And the goal of all this the goal of what we're going to do here is to focus on awareness, our personal triggers. We all have different triggers in our lives. Sometimes it can be something as small as somebody chewing too loud beside them. It can be something as huge as being discriminated against in the workplace as a woman or as a man or for any social reason. And we're going to go over options of ways to handle it because there's a myriad of ways of dealing with situations that make you angry. And I'm sure we've all heard the cliche ones, and then I'm sure that we all have developed our own. And I think that it's a good time to share that as part of the goal for all of this. And the rationale with this is that many of our relationships, whether we know about it or not, are affected by our ability or inability to control our anger and verbalize what's making us angry and recognize it. Sometimes we redirect our anger and we might take it out on somebody else. And so the rationale behind doing this is to really streamline how we view ourselves when we're angry and our ability to separate what's making us angry from everything else. You know, people often say, oh, they're taking their anger out on me. They're having a bad day. They're taking it out on me. That's the big rationale to this, is that we want to try and minimize the possibility of the ones in our lives, whether it be at our work, in our community, our friend circle, our children, whatever the case may be. We're going to try and minimize the possible effects our anger can have on them. So, do you guys have any questions about what we're going to do going forward? No? Seems pretty easy. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of a break now that we've gone over the goals and the rationale and the warm-up, and we will see you back for the next part. Thank you.